Here's my question for you. 13 Republicans voted for the infrastructure bill, along with 19 Republican senators. Yet not a single senator voted to censure Paul Gosar for his comments, and again, and his meme. And I'm not going to focus on that deranged individual because that's not the point of my question. But the point of my question is, it seems like the Republican Party is more concerned with excoriating people who voted for an infrastructure bill that the public wants and the Senate overwhelmingly approved in a bipartisan way than they are about censoring a man who's a birther and who talks about killing his colleagues. So I guess the question is, how can the Republican Party govern and and get anything done when that's the modus operandi?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Wall Street Journal put it well that the Gozar thing was just an example of, sadly, what's happened in our Congress. It's really, our members are more concerned about being a social media influencer than actually helping people get a better life and making our country better, and standing against China and all the other risks that we have. So it's just, to me, any member, whether it's someone on the extreme right or the extreme left who's trafficking in the side of stuff, type of stuff, it's garbage, and we should call that what it is. The problem is, though, I don't like to waste my time hanging out in the garbage. So I prefer to focus on policy. I prefer to focus on things that matter. So the fact that we, sadly, in America, our state of discourse, we can't have policy-based conversations. That's one reason why I like doing Practically Political, because I think we focus on things that are substantive. We really try to get the signal instead of the noise. There's so much noise out there right now, and that's a function of something that Irving Kristol said was that capitalism, he says that he wrote a book called Two Cheers for Capitalism. He said, I withhold the third cheer because at the end of the day, it's just a machine, and the inputs, the cultural values and the inputs that you put into that machine determine the future of the country. So if we as a country, we're elevating media and discourse and social media that is degrading and corrosive to our social fabric from, both fringes, that's our country will, our democracy will implode on itself. So I think that the members should be focused on things that matter. And let's just keep doing that here at Practically Political, Dave.
No, I agree. And I guess what worries me is that the Democrats are incompetent. They're feckless. I've said this before. They may be bickering amongst themselves. They may be dropping the ball, but they're at least trying to govern. You may not agree with their policies, but there's no effort from that on the Republican side. And this is what I talk about. I don't care about the noise. I care about the democracy. And what worries me is, nobody I know can name a single meaningful piece of legislation that this Republican Congress has put forward. It's been all obstruction. It's been moral bankruptcy. And that's what worries me because, there's if this were typically in past, a party like this would be irrelevant for 5 or 10 years. But the odds are that they're going to take over Congress. And that's what really worries me in terms of the health of our democracy, and not only in terms of governing, but in terms of election integrity and a lot of other stuff. Your final thoughts?
Well, I think sure. Well, I think there are leaders who are showing us what's possible. We just had our gala with the Independent Women's Forum. We had Senator Tim Scott. He's got an amazing agenda. He's put forward a criminal justice reform bill. He's put forward the opportunity zones, which help impoverished areas, both rural and urban. He's put forth all sorts of proposals to help with education and school choice, and business reforming regulations so that small business owners and entrepreneurs, they don't have to be killed by local regulations that were put in place by lobbyists to crush competitors. And same thing in California, the AB5 and all those just very burdensome rules that try to crush business. People like Tim Scott are pushing back against that. And also here where I live in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, same thing. He's got an agenda. He wants to repeal the grocery tax. He wants to make business environments more friendly. He wants to expand school choice. So there are lots of opportunities. I try to focus on the things that, light a candle instead of curse in the darkness.
No, I agree. And I think on the state level, some stuff is being done. But I just, on the national level, particularly with some of these bills, instead of just obstructing, I wish they'd say, okay, well, here's our idea. Here's how we can make it better. Anyway, well, another great great episode. And I'll tell you, the thing I really enjoy most about this show is civil discourse that I wish the rest of the political community could emulate. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. That is another episode of Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
I'm Carrie Sheffield. We'll catch you next time.